Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining us, I hope that this video benefits you in some way. If you're coming back for another video, I really appreciate you coming back. Today I'm going to be changing the servo saver on our Traxxas Stampede here. The tools we're going to need for this repair are going to be a pair of needle nose pliers. There will be a cross wrench here as well, and some Allen wrenches. In our older model, we're going to be using a Phillips head screwdriver. Now this electric screwdriver, if you've never seen this on my channel before, this is pretty unique. When you push down the trigger, nothing actually happens with the tool. As you begin rotating the tool, you're going to see the tool respond to your inputs. This gyroscopic technology makes it a pretty cool tool to use. Our next step is going to be to remove the body and turn the vehicle upside down. Located underneath the vehicle is the servo saver here. This disc has a spring in the inside of it, and that spring is designed to absorb impact as you crash into things. This servo saver braking does save your servo from breaking, so this is a worthwhile piece to keep on your vehicle. Our next step is to remove this screw that's located here in the center. Now, as a pro tip, when you are tightening or removing screws in servo savers or servo arms, you do want to keep some pressure so that that servo doesn't move as you're tightening or loosening these screws. It will just reduce the likelihood of stripping out your servo. We'll remove that screw once it's all loose here. And like in all of my videos, I really recommend storing your screws in places where you can keep up with them. So for the time being, I'm just going to keep that screw in that servo saver. Located on the servo itself is this little adapter piece here. Now this adapter piece does need to remain on the servo, and then when you replace your servo saver, typically you'll get a new one of these adapters. Now these adapters come in different spline counts. For the Traxxas ones, they are Futaba based, so they will use a 25 tooth spline count. In other brand servos, they may use a 23 or a 24, so this servo adapter does matter when you're upgrading your servo. Now just underneath this servo saver here are some nuts here. Now these nuts will need to come loose so that we can completely remove that servo saver. We'll take our pair of needle nose pliers here and we'll just grip the servo saver. We'll grip the nut rather, and it's best to kind of grip it from the underside so that you can get your screwdriver on this screw. So our nut is now loose here. And just like before, always store your hardware in a place that is going to be easy to remember where it goes. So we're going to store this nut right here. And we'll do the same with this other nut that's on this other side. And once again, storing our hardware in a place that's easy to remember it. Now we have successfully removed the servo saver. Now reinstalling the servo saver is a pretty easy process. We're just kind of going in the reverse. But you do need to pay a little bit closer attention so that you don't end up installing this upside down. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I have done that myself. So we're going to reinstall the nut and screw. Now remember, the screw goes through the top and the nut goes underneath. Sometimes you get lucky with these trucks and you have just enough room to use our little cross wrench here. And this is so much easier than using the pair of needle nose pliers. I'm going to squeeze this piece underneath here and then reinstall these screws. This goes underneath just like the other one did. That goes on the bottom. We're going to grab a hold of this with our needle nose pliers again and tighten up that screw. Now this is the point of which that you'll need to reinstall your servo adapter here. Now this being that it is an odd number of teeth, you might find that you'll have to remove it and reinstall it one tooth over to get your servo to center properly. Now because I have seemingly lost the controller for this truck, we're going to use our test box here. This test box has a number of testing equipment, including a receiver, a servo, battery packs, a speed controller, and a motor. This is very beneficial for diagnosing problems, but this is not something that is required for any repair. I'm going to flip our vehicle back over and I'm going to unplug the speed controller that is always located in channel number 2 and plug it into the corresponding slot on our receiver here, as well as plugging our battery pack in to power up the receiver. Now we'll flip our vehicle back over and continue with the repair. On our controller is going to be a steering trim knob here. You want to make sure that you center this up as best as possible so that your servo has the best possibility of actually being center. Now you're going to get your wheels as visually straight as you can and reinstall your servo saver. Now, if you look pretty closely here, that servo arm is pretty straight. Don't pay as much attention to your tires. Pay more attention to this component here being straight, because if your tires are not straight, you can adjust those with these tie rods here. Now, if this was not centered, let's say this was kiltered off at a little bit of an angle, you would remove that little servo adapter that we just installed and reinstall it one tooth over, and you'll find that it will center up better. Now in tightening up that screw again, that should complete our repair. Now you'll notice that I am holding that servo saver here so that we're not turning the servo as we're tightening up our screws. Now you'll notice that I did do a final tighten by hand here instead of using the tool. That way I don't strip out screws or damage threads. Well guys, I hope you can see how quick and easy this repair is. I'll put the total completion time somewhere here. If you have benefited from this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up and a subscription. And if you would like to see notifications when new videos go up, hit that bell as well. If you don't hit that bell, you're not getting any notifications, so go back and do that for all of your subscriptions. Well, anyway, that'll wrap it up, and I hope to see you in the next one.